Because of my grandpa, I have ducks living in my basement. They even have their own bedroom, which my dad and girlfriend begrudgingly helped to create. The reason I have ducks in my basement is because I inherited Grandpa's love for animals. During his life, he trained dogs and horses to do tricks that won him awards around the country. He also had pet buffaloes, peacocks, cats, llamas, rabbits, donkeys, and just about any animal willing to hang around for a free meal. He even caught a 45-pound catfish with his bare hands. My grandfather will always be remembered for his great sense of humor.
You got close. I want to do it again. Here's where Jason got, and here's where you got Johnny. Who's next, Kimberly?
Oh, it's like you're up high.
My grandfather accomplished a lot during his 90 years of life, including raising a family, being a devout father, grandfather and husband, farming, and serving our country. He served our country in the Navy in World War II. My family had the opportunity to travel to Washington, D.C. in 2010 for the Honor Flight. This is where U.S. military veterans are flown to the Capitol to visit memorials of the wars they were a part of.
Shine like the sun and hold you in the palm of his hand.
My grandfather was a farmer at heart, farming for over 40 years. He said animals and farming are in his blood and that he couldn't think of life any other way. My grandfather said his greatest accomplishment was his two children, Karen and Jerry. Karen and Jerry grew his family, making him a grandfather to 6 grandchildren and a great-grandfather to 9 great-grandchildren and counting. It's a girl! Nice!
Oh, look at how little she is. How big is she?
He will raise you on eagle's wings, bear you on the breath of dawn, make you to shine the sun and hold you in the palm of his hand.
Throughout all of the accomplishments that my grandfather has had in his life, the one that is most impressive to me is his devotion as a husband. When my grandmother, Erlene, was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, he continued to serve, love, and remain loyal to her until the end of his days. When she became too ill to remain at the farm, Grandpa continued to be her constant companion by making the main focus of his life tending to her needs. And when my grandpa could no longer live at the farm, he and my grandma became roommates again. He always remained a very joyful man who never lost his sense of humor, and my grandmother continued to be his pride and joy. Will you marry me? My grandfather was the biggest advocate for my engagement to my girlfriend, who is now my fiance. The last time I saw my grandfather, he said he was glad that I got engaged because getting married was the best decision that he ever made. Because of my grandpa, I have ducks living in my basement. However, this is just one of the many things that my grandfather has passed on to myself and my family through his genes, but more importantly, through his example by the way he lived his life. Now that Grandpa is in heaven, we won't be able to see him for a while. But until that day comes, we will have the blessing of living with the legacy that he has left us here on earth.